What is up, guys? No good Suna, and if you're watching this video, I assume you finished the first part. If not, I recommend you go watch that because it talks about all the A plus tier and S tier characters. And in this one, I'll be covering all the A tiers and B tiers. And the reason I'm doing that is because SHAREfactory does have a limit to how much you can actually record and put into a video. So that really sucks. If you already checked it out, then you're in the right place if you want to continue hearing about these characters and possibly your favorite characters and what some of their strengths are and stuff. I'm going to try to keep it brief, but also keep it informative because I do plan on making videos individually talking about certain characters and just to show you in action what they can do, like in the lab and in-game. So I think it's something you guys should watch out for. And go ahead and sub and put the little bell so you don't miss a video. but all right, let me continue, and I'll be talking about everyone's favorite support, but also a really nasty character on his own, Toguro. And something I didn't really include in this tier list, even with the S tier characters, is Garbrichis. I'm trying to convey a message in the way that if the characters didn't have any Garbrichis, which or like OPS R3s, like I'm not really counting those because normally in tournaments they would get banned anyway, like at least in most of the tournaments, because those mechanics are pretty unfair, so you probably wouldn't get to use them anyway. But if you did, Toguro might move up a little bit, Asta might move up a little bit, would move up a little bit, just stuff like that. But without it, he's still a really good character, probably the best A tier character. I would even consider him maybe A plus, but that's debatable. But I think he's really good. I probably would have put him A plus, but for the sake of argument, I'm just gonna leave him an A. And let me just talk about him real quick. He is the best support, one of the best supports in the game, right? Comes out really quickly, no matter what. Does a uppercut into the air, down, and if you're in the air, he goes up into the air to chase you down. I'm sorry. So there's that. But just talking about the character individually himself, the finger bullets can be charged up, and they're safe if you charge them up. If you don't, it leaves you open. They're not very good at hitting supports, I want to say, because there's been plenty of times where I tried using it to hit people like their supports, and it would miss, and I'm just like, why is it missing? Like, it literally, he turns when he does them, right? If you try to move away from him. So I'm just like, oh, okay, so it should hit the support. It doesn't. His stronger move has a lot of armor, so if your opponent tries to swing, you're probably going to catch them and then hit it. Not the best move, but it's pretty good at just like in the middle of combos. And the finger bullets are good at the end of combos, and you can switch off of it, so it's not bad. You can also switch off of stronger, so if you switch and then use stronger, if your opponent tries to sidestep around or move around, he has to be wary that Toguro is coming down from the sky and he's gonna slam and make that red stuff pop up and go everywhere. So, or like the red shockwaves. Whoops, red stuff. Making it seem like it's ketchup or something, but no. And then everyone's favorite move that got nerfed but is still a really good move is Do You Think You're Invincible? Where he basically the pick up the soap move where where he can catch you lacking, man. You can swing on him sometimes and you'll run right, you swing right through his character model, and then he has like iframes where he just his hitbox disappears for some reason during that move, and he'll just tackle you into the floor, and then he can do an ult after that, which is ult's pretty good too. It's pretty fast, but it's not the fastest. It's an okay ult, and the fact that it connects after the You Think You're Invincible is pretty good. Or you can and after Do You Think You're Invincible, you can go hit one light into You Think You're Invincible again. If you have 5 meter, you can do another light and then do stronger. So Toguro is pretty good, and you can actually area change off of Do You Think You're Invincible, so that's not that bad. His down tilt's pretty quick. Remember not to do one light in the down tilt because that is Garbrichis, and you're kind of a scumbag if you do that. So just something you should keep in mind. And you can actually catch your opponent with a support if you ult and use support at the same time. So a support like Piccolo or whoever you might be using will catch him after the ult ends. So overall, a pretty good character. His down tilt can actually, at the end of it, you can connect combos with it. Up tilt doesn't really do too much for him. His triangle can be a little clunky at times, but it's okay. It's not bad. So overall, pretty good character. Alright, next character, Bakugo. Another DLC character. One of the best supports in the game, because this man just doesn't really miss. He spins around to hit you. When he knocks you up in the air to give your opponent enough time to charge up like 1.5, maybe 2 meters. You can follow up with like a lot of other characters like Starfingers. You can really land like almost anything off of it. But that's not even the reason why. I'm not really counting supports. I might make another support tier list at some point, but I'm just if they're notable supports, I will like include them, obviously. But he has the AP shot. The AP shot as a super is okay. It's pretty good. It can be used to do 50-50s. The only thing I don't like about Bakugo is his strings are so long, like his neutral square strings. But that's also what adds to like the whole mix-up aspect, because you never know what he's really gonna do. He gets stun grenade. He can go for a burst turbo and go up if you try to sidestep it. If you block, and you get hit, and you do and he does the AP shot, he can cancel out of the lag frames and like go up into the sky with burst speed. This character is pretty nice. It's actually really good. Actually very underrated, but he's still really good. And you can connect his ult reliably off of his supers, so not a bad character. It does pretty good damage too, especially a stun grenade. Even though it costs 3 meters, if you catch it, there's times where you can catch supports, which I've actually managed to do once, and that does a lot of damage. It almost like does like 50-60% off of just that. The character is really good. Definitely a character you should try out if you haven't already. The fact that he has some really good air game too, whereas like if you burst speed into the air, you can like do lights and another burst speed, or just throw out another burst speed and then do like a burst speed into the ground to finish it off. And it's just really good. You can escape out of his air burst speed. I don't know if people know that, but yeah, just something to keep in mind. If you ult, I don't believe you can actually catch them afterwards. So that's the only real downside to it. But overall, he's a really good character. So if you haven't tried him out, I think he's really good, and I think you should give him a try. He actually does do pretty good damage, as I already stated. So next, Jotaro, whatever people want to call him, right? Jojo. Jotaro is a bit lower on the tier list. I think people might think he might be A+, and to that I say, being like top 5 in A tier. I mean, A tier still counts as A+ tier. But when you compare him to all the other characters, you can see why he falls down here a bit more. Like a lot of the other characters have grab ults and stuff, whereas Bakugo and Toguro don't. Neither does Jotaro. But he does have what his moves are: Aura, which is, you know, his Star Platinum comes out and punches the shit out of you, and he has the Judge, which is a really good move. It's good for chasing people down because it goes really far and is really fast, especially if you have an opponent who's like prone to backstep a lot. And double backstep, you can really use it to catch them. And if they try to switch, Jotaro actually like does 360s, 180s, and like turns around and goes to the next target. So it's really good for that. Aura can be used to like after you use it, you know, you can follow up, switch another character to use like stuff in the air, like maybe Killua, Thunderbolt in the air, something like that. Dies, like move in the air. Just some few examples. And he has Starfinger, which is like everyone's like thing is like, you know, 2 Starfingers in the ult does like 80% damage. But here's the thing with Jotaro is he has a really quick grab, right? But if you just, a lot of the time it's so predictable when Jotaro players try to like Starfinger you gotta be careful. That's why he's one of the better characters here. But at the end of the day, you can't, if you can't reliably land his ult or his Starfinger, which all you gotta do is block Starfinger, you block him trying to ult, and he can't grab ult you. It's kind of just like, you just gotta be careful, you know? That's really it. And if you're careful, his ult kind of gets negated in a sense. You just got to watch out for the grabs. He might try to 50-50 you with a grab, and then you might try to grab tech, and instead he goes for the ult, and he catches you grabbing the air. So you got to watch out for that. He's still a really scary character. You know, don't undermine like the fact that he can't grab ult you. If he sits there and just grabs you the entire time, and you think he's not gonna do much for you, like, yo, he's not gonna do any damage, he's not gonna ult me, the grab damage will rack up, and he's still getting meter as he's doing it, because if you know, every air combo that finishes and every grab does give you 1 meter, so he'll just be getting meter off of you the entire time. Overall, he's a really good character. His down tilt does connect into his neutral strings. His up tilt isn't really good at all, though. It looks really cool, but it's not really that good, honestly. But triangle combo does connect into the Judge, which I believe it does for the other 2 characters. Toguro and Bakugo, some of their attacks do connect to their triangles. For a lot of characters, they do. There's only very few characters that doesn't work for. But, you know, so just something to keep in mind as well. Always one triangle into Aura looks really cool. Connects into the Judge, connects into Starfinger. But I think just doing 2 Starfingers in the ult is probably one of the best things you can do as Jotaro, because it just shits out damage. But just shitting out damage doesn't really make him too threatening, in my opinion. He doesn't have like a command grab that grabs you out of block or anything crazy like a grab ult. And even though his damage is pretty insane, I just don't think he's like better than some of the other like what do we call them? Glue eaters, yeah, like Kenshiro, who does like more damage. And I mean, Jotaro is safe after Starfinger, but a lot of time it is predictable, and you can't sidestep it. So it's something to watch out for. And at times it does feel like it tracks, but at times it doesn't. And sometimes even then, like Starfinger will miss because like people will phase through Star Platinum, and the whole Starfinger just misses entirely, and you're just like, well, I'm down 2 meter, and he's beating my ass. So, but something I will say is, as a support and even as a super, you can absolutely not, like, I believe it's not possible at all to perfect block or even like what is it, vanish the Starfinger. Like, it hits you no matter what. So there's that. Anyway, that pretty much covers it for this character. He's really good, not the best, but he's pretty good character. If you use them in a team with other characters, and this goes for any character, right, he would shine pretty well. You just always gotta find synergy with characters and which to put in a team. All right, next is Luffy. Luffy, right? So everyone knows him for being a really annoying support because Red Hawk just doesn't miss. You can't jump over it because it catches you. You can block it, but then he sits there on your guard for a long time, and enabling people to just walk up and start comboing your guard. And he's just really annoying support, right? And his up tilt, not too good. Down tilt allows him to combo after squares and the triangles, probably some of the best things you can do. And then, you know, Grizzly Magnum, one of the few moves in the game that can actually go through Aizen's wall. I think actually Bakugo's AP shot goes through the wall, but don't quote me on that. So one of the only moves that can go through the wall and hit supports as well, so you can hit multiple people. Red Hawk can hit multiple people, but the characters have to be close. Whereas Grizzly Magnum, they can like run into it and it hits them from the side and stuff, and like goes through the wall reliably without really putting Luffy in any danger. Has a really quick command grab you can use mid combo, and it looks like he's just charging his meter sometimes, and it catches you off guard. His ult goes pretty far. He got buffed so where it has really good tracking. He's a really good character. He's honestly slept on in this game a little bit. People like to undermine him and like make him a support only character or something, but he's really good. So I don't know why people sleep on him. Doesn't have a grab ult, but it's a pretty cool grab. So you know, that's the reason why I have him up here. Nothing too crazy. He's like a straight like a brawler character. Nothing too crazy with him. Just honestly just a straightforward character that's reliable and does good damage. Pair him up with a good support, you're gonna make your character or your opponent a living nightmare depending on what character they have. But anyway, on to the next character, Sanji. I actually would put him a bit higher because this character has the potential to like really be up there in A+, and I would put him up there. But there's one problem he has, and some of you already know it, and y'all hate people that talk about it, or y'all hate the fact that this is a gimmick, but it's a thing. But he cannot hit females whatsoever, like at all. So if your opponent, if you ever try to play rank with Sanji, like any Sanji main knows, if he ever has to fight a CAC, there's a female CAC, and then like the opponent has like Rukia support, and then he also or Kaguya support too, along with the CAC, or even like Galena, who no one would ever play, but like just female characters in general. That character is useless the entire match. He can't do anything, even as a support. You just like walk up, kiss them, and like stun them for like a split second, and then they can like move again. Whereas they'll have like Kaguya support with their CAC, you know, or like Boa with like Kaguya support, stuff like that. And that's the only reason I even put him this much down here, because this character has so much potential. R2 circle, the Puala, freeze, Spectre, the multiple kicks in the air can let him land first, and like he can do square combos, triangle combos off of that. He can combo after it, right? Or he can go into another one, or if he lands first he can ult you, which he usually does. R2 square into his Muton shot. So you can really like mess around with that stuff. He's pretty good after like a projectile that launches people away into the air, like Zoro's Pound Hawk. That's what I like to use after. Like it'll be like Pound Hawk in the Sanji, so you can like combo them in the air. That's where he really shines. He doesn't really need to be in the air, but the fact that he works so well in the air is amazing. It's really good. His R3 triangle, the Jiu shot, goes so far and it's safe on block. This character, honestly, I would put him a bit higher if it weren't for that small gimmick. but he's still not a bad character. Honestly, you could even consider him A+, except when your opponents decide to run a full team of females where he's essentially just useless the entire time. Not even that, like, if your opponent uses a support that, like, let's say you're fighting Ichigo and he has Rukia support, right? And then you decide to use Sanji's Paula Free Spectre, and then Rukia is standing right next to Ichigo. You'll hit Ichigo almost, but then the moment he touches Rukia, he like essentially escapes all the way back. Doesn't cancel her, doesn't do anything, just pushes her. He just pushes Sanji all the way back. It does nothing. When you awaken on a female, he doesn't even do the knockback effect. Doesn't do anything. Hey, you essentially become useless with Sanji. And if your opponent even has like 2 female characters on the team, he essentially can't do too much most of the time. So you're basically just a walk-in punching bag. He does have a grab ult, and he actually can connect ult after Juice Shot, which is really good. Juice Shot can be used in the air and in the ground. He's honestly, I would say he's A+ tier. I would put him right next to Zoro if it weren't for that small gimmick. I only have him lower than some of these other characters. Some of these other characters have really good support. Sanji's support is okay, mediocre, not too good, not too bad. So yeah, that's the only thing that really holds him back is the fact he can't hit females whatsoever. And his support not being the best, I guess. But other than that, he's a really solid character. I'd put him up higher right next to Zoro. Honestly, I really would. But for now, I'm going to keep him here. Honestly, I would put him next to Zoro. So you could just imagine him next to Zoro if you didn't have that one tiny flaw when there's no females around, I guess. But he's still a really good character. Honestly, really slept on. I think people should pick him up and play him. But, you know, the female problem. So yeah, and his triangle combos actually do track really well, and his up tilt is okay, not the best. It looks really cool. Down tilt I think can be used to, it used to be able to combo after. I'm not sure if you can really do it now, but it's okay. His squares are okay. The only problem he has too is sometimes his triangle combos drop when you try to go from squares into triangles. But other than that, he's still a really solid character, really good. Can't say too much about him now that I've said all that though. But yeah, anyway, on to the next character. But yeah, Sanji's really good. On to the next character. Yusuke, another character who's a bit lower on here, but he's still, honestly, like I've stated before, A+ and A tier are the same tier. It's just A+ characters are the better A tier characters. But these A tier characters and B tier characters can still compete. These A tier characters can compete pretty well against the S tiers. By the way, I should state that the S tier doesn't mean they're like unbeatable. You can use these A tier lower characters to win. You just have a harder time, you know, fighting an Ichigo as fucking Piccolo than you would as, you know, as Kane or Goku or Kaiba, you know, or even Naruto or Gaara or you know, or Jotaro or Toguro. But that's besides the point, because Yusuke has some of the his strings are kind of slow. He's pretty fast, but he does it really slow at the same time. His down tilt is okay. You can go from down tilt in the triangle combos, or you can do triangles into down tilt and then back into triangle combos. Looks really cool. He looks really like flashy and stuff. His transformation doesn't do anything for him, but he has a really cool ult. You can actually follow up with certain supports after the ult. He has Organ Murder, a command grab. You can use to catch your opponent off guard, or you can just do some pretty good damage after like some of your triangle combos. He does have a grab ult, which is really strong, is really good. You can grab into Spirit Gun, which is a super. You can grab into his super, which not a lot of characters can do. So the characters that can are pretty strong. So there's that. Or you can follow up and dash and start a combo. So that's pretty good too. And not to mention that his Spirit Gun is probably his best tool, because he's just, if the Yusuke has a Spirit Gun like 5 meter, just know he's gonna waste most of those on Spirit Gun, unless he's trying to go for like an Organ Murder combo with like Hisoka or something, or like Toshiro. But the character is really solid. Nothing too crazy about him. His R2 triangle, which is his Spirit Wave, gives him pretty good armor when you use it. He's even armored through supers and stuff. So that move tanks a lot of stuff. Some stuff that you think like would knock him out of it doesn't knock him out of it. A lot of armor on that move, and he can charge it up after one triangle. He can charge it up all the way, and if you charge it up all the way, it does go into a Spirit Gun. And if your opponent tries to guard it, which a lot of the time they won't guard it, they'll probably move away before it happens or grab you out of it. It'll break their guard if they guard it. So there's that. Overall, he's more like a brawler character with an annoying projectile to like get on your nerves with. He's a really good character. Honestly slept on. I would say pick him up, give him a try, especially if you're a Yu Hakusho fan, because you know Hiei dropping soon, and you're gonna want to run that Toguro Hiei Yusuke team. I know I'm going to, but yeah, a pretty good character. I said give him a shot if you haven't already. You might like him. You never know. And the fact that he's always in your face, just like brawling and shit, pretty scary to fight against at times, honestly. And if you try to approach him, he can always like try to zone you out with like spirit guns, which is like what Yusuke's are mainly known to do. So like ray gun, ray gun, ray. He's a good character. He doesn't. You would think, you know, since his combos don't have too much sass, like, you know, maybe he's not that good. But no, all he needs is a spirit gun just to be annoying. This character can make your life hard by just spamming. And if he teams up with Toguro, he's basically getting his free spirit gun no matter what. But yeah, that's enough of Yusuke. Pretty good character. I say check him out. Okay, so Madara, another DLC character. Some people hate the fact that he feels very stiff, and to that I say the stiffness. I don't really see it. He's a pretty good character. Some of the best mix-ups in the game, by the way, because his triangle combo first of all has so much priority. If you hit triangle, you're more likely gonna clash with your opponent, but you're gonna hit him no matter what. You'll hit him first most of the time, and he like flashes forward like during Sasuke's triangle, and he can hit you, and he'll most likely always have priority and get the first hit. So you don't even gotta worry about your opponent swinging most of the time. And the fact that he makes wood come out of the ground, you can like vanish and then make wood come out and chase them. He's honestly really scary. Has really good mix-ups. His down tilt's really good. You can combo after. His up tilt, I think you can combo after as well. Don't quote me on that one though. I'm not sure if his up tilt can combo after. But a lot of his strings are his up tilt and down tilt are actually safe on block, so you don't gotta worry about that. He does have a grabble. His grab's actually very annoying to dodge because it pops up in front of him. Also, one of the few characters that can kind of hit eyes into the wall, not too reliably, but it's worth a shot, you know, because you can like swing the Susanoo arm through it. Susanoo has pretty good armor, can hit supports. The only thing that does suck is that you can't use the support to like follow it up. But what you can do is that you can use your fireball jutsus or your dragon flame blouncing, the dragon fireballs, right? And then into Susanoo if you're close enough, so you can like combo triangle and then do it. But overall, this character is really scary because he does have a counter too that people forget about sometimes. And his counter going into his ult does an insane amount of damage. So it's very hard. You got to be careful not to hit him. Also, his counter does hit your supports. If you do if you call a support and then run up and try to hit him, and he knows you're gonna do that, he'll probably just and he counters. He's going to damage your support a lot, including the main character, so that does like hella damage. And if he ults right after, because it actually does connect, it does a lot of damage. The only downside I can say is that his Susanoo doesn't have like a follow-up or any kind of follow-up with any support because of how long it lasts, but it looks really cool. It's badass. It's Madara Uchiha. I'm pretty sure most of us are disappointed, and so am I, that we didn't get stage of 6 past Madara, but he's okay. Like, it's just the Madara everybody fell in love with at first, so it's whatever. And the other notable thing I will add is his square combos in the air. The timing on it is a little different because of the way he hits you. He like waits a second and then like punches you, so you gotta time that too. It's very weird. So Madara is really one of those annoying characters to deal with. And like I said, you can kind of notice the trend now. You see all these characters like slowly, like the power scaling and the amount of damage they can do and stuff is going downhill. And you can see like a lot of them coming up won't really have any grab ults. So just bear in mind that this is where the tier list starts to look weaker. You could even argue that, you know, this is where like kind of like where Madara and Dragon and Blackbeard are, is where B tier starts. So, but I wouldn't say they're that bad to the point where we needed a B tier, because they're all pretty good. But anyway, let me talk about Dragon now. I said enough about Madara. But Madara, a solid character. It takes discipline to learn the character. Same thing with Yusuke. So I'd say if you're willing to learn the character, you will be rewarded if you learn Madara, because he's honestly one of those annoying characters because his shit is so safe and like his mix-ups are very scary. You never know what he's really gonna do. So yeah, and then his grab is insane. I would say that maybe he would be A+ tier if he could really do more follow-ups and stuff. He's a really good character. Honestly, that's why I have him up here. And I really think A tier is where I'm gonna get the most controversy for like where I put characters, but it's personal opinion. The other ones you can't really debate the other tiers, or the bottom like characters or the top characters, because those are obviously like facts and you can't really change that. But for some of these characters where I put them, I might get some flack. But you know, we'll just see. But Dragon Shiryu. One of the best things about him, right, is the fact that his ult can combo after some of his supers. So you can do like a whole triangle combo, do I think Excalibur, and then ult right after, and that does a lot of damage. Not just that, but Excalibur actually hits multiple characters, so you can actually hit the person supports. That's why he's higher up here in A, but also like there's some downsides I'll talk about here in a second. But you would say that you would think that he doesn't have a lot of downsides, and he really doesn't. Like honestly, he has a very few downsides, but he's honestly a really good character. All his supers cost 1 bar, and he has the Rising Dragon Punch where you can try to sidestep at times. It'll catch you anyway. It'll like nick your shirt collar and like push you all the way up into the sky. And you can follow up with a support and stuff. Looks really cool. He does have the support move. What is the Raging Dragon thing where he like runs at you and like knocks you up into the air. You can do some really cool follow-ups with that. I don't know if that actually connects in the ult. I think I've seen it connect a few times, but the more reliable one has always been Excalibur. So, and Excalibur has really good range. It almost goes like almost across the map. Can hit supports too, so you gotta watch out for that. But just approaching this character when he has ult as with a support is just scary anyway because he can really like fuck up your support and you. But not only that, the only downside to his ult is that you can be cancelled. His up tilt doesn't really, I don't believe it really connects with anything. So nothing too crazy there. His triangle combo can like cancel into a vanish and then go right back into triangle combos and square combos, and it's really fast. Honestly, one of the fastest characters. I've been sleeping on this character for a long time. Other people had to open my eyes to him. I played him a little bit, not too good with him. I'm okay with him. I will pick him up eventually, like to actually like mess with him a little bit. But you know, we'll see when the time comes. Dragon overall, like his square combos have multi hits in it, and so if you don't know, characters with multi hits are easier to square counter because the timing on it is a little iffy, and you kind of like mash. I wouldn't say you can mash straight up, but like they're easier to time the square hits because they have multi hits in their combos. The same thing with Saint Seiya and Dragon, and All Might has it in one of his combos. I think Kenshiro has it too. Something you just got to keep in mind that if the character has multi hits, they're easier to like combo or like the square counter, so it can make it hard to combo at times because of that. So that's the only reason I would put him a bit lower on here. But overall, he's a really good character. I've been sleeping on him for a long time. Definitely, you should try him out if you haven't already. But yeah. Anyway, I guess I'll move on to the next character. This is officially after Blackbeard, or like right around here. You could really start the B tier list and then put the B characters at C if you really wanted to. But honestly, I don't think any character is that bad. It would have to make like a C tier, to be quite honest with you. But anyway, let's talk about Blackbeard. By the way, Shiryu's support isn't too great. It's okay, but not the best. But just thought I'd add that in there. Blackbeard as a support, he's pretty good. You can actually vanish it. You got to be careful for that. But even then, like if you do land it, it pushes them back a little bit, and then it puts them in the bounce animation where they bounce off the floor, so you can like combo stuff after that. Not a bad support whatsoever, actually. He's actually kind of underrated because he does hit a large area effect, and and playing him as a character, right? The only real downside to playing him is the fact that you can never really see what your opponent's doing. You're fighting a smaller character that could be going for a charge attack, and you wouldn't really know. You would just like kind of sidestep and get hit maybe anyway. You just gotta be careful when playing this character. But his grab is okay. His down tilts can connect into triangles. His up tilt isn't too good. It's okay, I guess. Nothing crazy about him. With his triangles, the triangles do connect into R2 square, which is the C quake, and into the command grab, which pulls you out of support stun, by the way. So let me hop into his supers right now. That's probably the best thing about him. His supers are honestly really good. That makes up for the fact that you can't really see most of the time. But C quake, right? Has pretty good area of effect. Can hit almost anything in front of him. Can hit the opponent's supports as they're coming in. So you can effectively cancel out support. The only thing that sucks about it is there is quite a bit of lag frames on it. You could probably cover yourself up with a support. After doing that, you'll be hitting their support, and then you cover yourself with your support. Not too bad. Not too bad of a trade, in my opinion. And you can use it in combos, so it's pretty good for that. And if you charge it up, I believe it does more damage, so not bad. Sequake's honestly a really slept on move. This character is so slept on, and people still don't know how good this character is. But Dark End, obviously a move that everybody knows. People consider it cheese. I If you catch your opponent with it without having to use support, I can't really say that it's cheese. Um, it does do a lot of damage at times, especially if you could like manage to get above Blackbeard. For some reason, I think the move is glitched. Honestly, I don't think CAC should have access to it. That way, we can see more Blackbeard players do it. But even then, the character can be pretty toxic with it. But you can connect it. If you connect Dark End, because if you grab Blackbeard out of it and and he throws it, he has enough time to throw it. It'll track you no matter where you reposition, and it waits for you after the grab. And if you're caught in it, he can do another Dark End, and then like Sequake, and that does like 60% damage, 50 somewhere around there. If you just land those three, and that only really costs 3 meters. That's insane, right? So yeah, Dark End is a really good move. You can garbage cheese with it, but if you're not garbage cheesing with it, even then it's still a really good move, a really good zoning tool. If you catch the opponent's support, you can like they'll stay there for a second, so you can really like Sequake them their support to hit them, and your opponent can't do much of a watch unless they have like a projectile, so they're forced to watch. His weakness, I would say, are projectile characters that stop him from doing what he wants to do. Particularly Kaiba, who repositions the character with like Blue Eyes White Dragon and stuff, and has like multiple draws that he can use to approach Blackbeard and stuff. Kaiba's one of the better characters for countering Dark End, if I didn't know. So is Hisoka, but I'll talk about Hisoka here in a bit. His R2 circle does pull you out of support. So what some people like to do is they like to run Luffy. I used to do this. I used to run Luffy back when supports were like 5 seconds before they came back, and then I would always have 2 meters. They would sit there and they block Luffy, and then he pulls them right out of support, slams them into the ground. Also, one thing I would like to add is his ultimate, which I believe is Liberation, Black Hole Liberation, right? Can be used to catch supports. So if your opponent likes to rely a lot on like Luffy support, Sasuke, not only does Blackbeard have tools to deal with it with like Seaquake and like Dark End, and if you could actually ult them, and if you catch that person's support, you could run up, and if they like to sit there and like block and use support, you could ult. The support is he's not gonna be able to block for the support, right? So the support is gonna get pulled in. You'll pull him. You'll switch out the opponent, and then you'll do damage. You'll do the ult damage, obviously, but you'll be pulling them out of the other character. You'll be making them play as their support, and that's very strong. Honestly, after Blackbeard, that's where A tier ends technically, and you could really say the other characters are B tier. But the other characters have really good moves too, and that things that make them better. And I will go over them in a second. But Blackbeard, a slept on character, man. He's really really good. I don't know why people just sleep on him. Like he's not like a really really nice character, but well, that's pretty much all I really have to say about him. His grab looks really cool, but nothing too special about it. Um, yeah, let me go ahead and move on to the next character. And I'm gonna try to kind of zoom past some of these unless they're like really notable. But Vegeta is a bit lower on the tier list, but honestly, it's only for a few reasons. His ult can be canceled at times if you're not careful. I haven't seen it happen too much lately, but his ult can be canceled. The only upside to his ult is that it does go across the map. It can't hit supports, but it won't do the full damage to the supports. It'll do like the initial damage, and then when the animation happens, whoever was out takes the rest of the damage. Not a really bad thing at all. Like, it's a really good ult. Doesn't have a grab ult. As a support, he can be good for certain characters that push characters away. He's exceptionally pretty good with Goku. If you have him as Kenshin support, also pretty good. So just small characters like that, he's pretty good. He's pretty good as support in some situations. And honestly, the volley attack is not bad. And if you transform into Super Saiyan or Super Saiyan Blue, it does do the more pellets, and it does the Big Bang attack at the end of it. So there's a plus to that, and you can connect that into ult. And something about Vegeta is you can jump in the air and like start using the volley attack, and they'll home in on your opponent a lot better than if you were to use him on the ground. So he's pretty good at switching around. His Gallic gun, if you charge it all the way, it's safe on block. Same thing with Goku. I don't know if I mentioned that, but so nothing bad there. The only downside is that in the middle of his square combos, sometimes characters like will fall out of it. Kind of like if you were trying to do squares in the triangles with certain characters. And I don't know why that is, but it happens sometimes. It's very annoying and it's inconsistent. Sometimes it'll happen, sometimes it won't. It especially sucks after you finish like guard breaking somebody or you catch someone right after they escape. And for some reason, like Vegeta decides to drop the combo and then they get out of it. That's the only real, like reason I have him a bit lower down here. He's honestly a pretty good character. He has the rush attack, the R2 triangle, the spirit breaker, connects in the Gallic gun. You can use it to switch and then use the volley in the air after you do the spirit breaker. So not bad there. You can like cover in the next character coming in, charge up in your opponent's face because they'll be blocking the volley. His up tilt can connect in the combos if you do it partially. His down tilt will connect in the square combos if you finish it. His triangle combo can be used pretty well to like land almost anything except the volley. You can use the square combos to land the volley if you do it and then don't continue the square attacks in the air. So he's a pretty good character overall, very solid. Definitely annoying to use because he can drop combos, but he's a really good character, slept on. Not the best support, but he's got stuff going on for him. He doesn't have a grab ult, though. That's the only like sad part about it. Apparently he has a grab ult against Furia Reaper for some reason, but that's a story for another time. But yeah, not a bad character. I think he's where he should be. But anyway, on to the next character. Alright, so Sabo. And some people might give me flack for this, but Sabo has some of the best moves in the game, but his square combos are pretty mediocre. Ass, I would even say. So let me just go over his strings, right? His square, triangle, strings, and stuff. Triangle combos can't really connect into anything. You gotta like time it right for it to land in the Flame Fist. Flame Fist comes out really quickly too, but we're not talking about supers just yet. So square combos are okay. They're pretty slow. His mix-up game is not very strong, but it's okay. It's decent. You can like, your opponent has to be careful that you don't like use Dragon's Breath while they try to sidestep and then they get caught by Dragon's Breath, and you can like follow up. After Dragon's Breath, you can follow up with like a Dragon Claw, and Dragon Claw can be used with the support to combo into it, so not bad. And you can actually land an ult after Dragon's Breath if you don't do the second part where he jumps. So not bad. The only downside is that his support doesn't do very much damage. I think he's where he should be. He's not too strong, but not too weak either. The only thing that does suck is his ult doesn't do a lot of damage, and that's why Sabo's down here. His up tilt, not too good. Down tilt, nothing crazy either. Honestly, if he went for his supers, he'd be probably a bit lower on the list. But because he has pretty good supers, and he's an okay support, Flame Fist is really good, really quick, knocks him up. Dragon Claw, really quick, also a really good like a really good move. So, if it weren't for that, I'd put him lower on the tier list. But since he does have that, I'll give him a pass, right? I'll give him a pass. He's pretty good. His grab is pretty cool looking. Nothing crazy, though. Anyway, nothing too much to say about Sabo, but on to the next character. Boa Hancock. This character, I might get some flack for putting her a bit lower down here, but it's okay, because I will explain my reasoning for putting her down here. So, this character's square combos, they're okay. Nothing too crazy. She has a lot of openings in her square combos. So does, like, Vegeta, I want to say, and Sabo. So that sucks, but her down tilt, the first two hits of it can connect into another like square combo mix. Her up tilt looks cool, but doesn't do anything for her. You can't combo after it. There's nothing you can really do after the up tilt. She does have 2 hits in the stage transition, which I'm not sure if I mentioned that for other characters. I don't think any of the characters I mentioned before really have that. Yeah, none of the other characters really have that. 2 hits in the stage transition, so that's not bad at all. And if you'd like hold triangle, and then you can use like Love Beam if you have an awakening, because then it'll give you the prompt to, it'll do the slow-mo, so you can land the Love Beam and then go into Slave Arrow and stuff. The only problem is that her ult is pretty slow at times, so it doesn't always connect after like Slave Arrow. Where Slave Arrow is a pretty good move, you can use it to catch your opponent that's backstepping away. Her supers really carry her. Like she's okay character, but her supers make her all that much better. And the fact that she can grab and then pistol kiss, and then maybe switch after to another character like Sanji. Sanji works really well off of her. Not the best support for her, but it works pretty well off of her. So that's not bad. You can like do stuff in the air with Sanji. So like grab, pistol kiss, pretty good. Does pretty good damage. You can, after her ult, I forgot to mention this, you can pistol kiss after her ult is over, so that's pretty good. But you might waste a lot of the meter before using that anyway. But like I said, Love Beam is cost 3 meter to use. You can use it after the first 2 lights or the first 2 heavies. So those are the only like real confirmed spots I know for it. Not bad, but if you use like Love Beam, you can like hold triangle, stage transition after it, or you can like grab them out of it. You can also like charge up a fully charged Slave Arrow in their face, and then like pistol kiss or ult right after. So not bad. She does really good damage with that. So, but she requires so much meter to do it. Same thing with like Jotaro and like Toguro. She requires so much meter to do that much damage. And honestly, I don't know if it's really worth it sometimes. I think it might be worth it in the long run because she'll do damage. And she a queen, so you know I fuck with Boa Hancock. Probably one of my favorite One Piece characters. Not gonna lie, but yeah, nothing too crazy about her. Doesn't have crazy mix-ups or anything, but you gotta watch out for her supers. So yeah, overall solid character. I think she's where she should be. Maybe a little higher than Sabo. Honestly, I was debate. You could honestly switch around Vegeta, Sabo, and Boa to see which one I think you would prefer. But the fact she has a pistol kiss is really quick, and Sabo has Dragon Claw. It just really depends where you really want to put her. She doesn't have a grapple, so that's the only sad part, I guess. But she does have a grab into super that your opponent can escape, so you gotta watch out for that. But all right, nothing too crazy with her. Next character. So Yugi. Yugi is probably one of the best supports in the game because he actually comes back really quick and he uses the Black Magician. Uh, and it goes into the air, shoots into the air. I forgot to mention that Boa does shoot into the air. Let's see who else. Yusuke can shoot into the air to help you bail you out. And Toguro goes into the sky, so it doesn't matter. So does Bakugo. Bakugo shoots into the sky. You can follow up with that. The only thing I will say is that some characters can mash through Yugi's like Dark Magician or Black Magician. So like most notably Ichigo would mash a lot of the time, would mash through my square combos, pretend like I'm not even swinging at him with a Dark Magician, where the Dark Magician is clearly swinging at him. So that's the only real downside to him, and the fact that his combos a lot of the time require you to land bolt like Dark Magician Girl Circle to even do damage. But you can do some pretty good damage off of Black Magician, just a regular one, and you can actually burn the meter to do another ball that does damage too, and it tracks really well, so not bad. Same thing with Black Magician Girl, the Black Burning Magic, pretty good too. Requires another meter, uses 3 whole meter. This character requires so much meter to really do any damage, and even then, reliably landing it, you have to like land a couple of lights first and then triangles. So, but overall, he's an okay character. His up tilt is godlike. People don't know that. His down tilt is a good like get over here tool, but not the best thing ever. Triangle combo, pretty cool. Sometimes characters can vanish out of the last hit, so that's the only thing that sucks. And you can't mash. You can mash through most of his stuff with certain characters. Certain characters just mash through his square combos like they're not there. Like Dark Magician Girl starts swinging at the air, so or Black Magician starts swinging at the air, and you can't do anything because it doesn't hit them, so they just mash through it. So that kind of sucks. He can stay transition off of one light, so that's probably a positive for Yugi. I will say, I didn't mention too much his draw, but his draw is kind of inconsistent, not that good. If you draw and you get magic formula, you get a damage boost, but you sit there for so long that your opponent has enough time to like run up and like maybe even Starfinger you or like hit you with a super across the map or ult you. They could do so much to you, and the only time it doesn't work very much in their favor, the arrows is probably the best thing you can get out of there because the Swords of Revealing Light won't ever catch anyone, really, because they'll see them coming and they'll sidestep. You gotta be lucky to catch someone with those. There's certain ways you can combo into them. I'll probably make a Yugi guy at some point. Best Yugi NA, by the way. He doesn't have a grab ult too, but your opponent can sometimes escape out of it, can escape, so just be careful about that. But yeah, overall, an okay character. Got nerfed because people were bitching about his damage, but he didn't really do that much damage anyway, but it's whatever. Now he's kind of nerfed. He's an okay character. Kaiba's honestly so much better. Like, I don't know why you want to use Yugi, but I mean, he's there if you want to use him. And I love Yugi, so I would probably use him anyway. Next character, Rukia. Honestly, a really good character. Her squares are really fast. Her triangles connect in the only thing that does suck is that her triangles connect only really into her R2 square, which costs 2 meter. Now she does have a buff, and her other move, Hakuren, takes a while to really launch. But it does go almost the whole entire way of the map. Like it goes like 80% way through the map from wherever you activate it, so it can hit across the map. And your opponent has to be careful approaching Rukia after she uses Hakuren because she can get hit by that. Her down tilt can combo back in the lights and triangles, so that's pretty good. Up tilt, nothing really notable, just knocks him away. Doesn't do anything for her really. She's honestly a really good support too, one of the better supports in the game, honestly. Her ult does go across the map. That's probably her best thing, is that her ult will hit your opponent no matter where they are on the map if they don't block it. And she does have a grab ult, so that's pretty good. And if you buff yourself first and then grab ult and it connects, that's doing a lot of damage. A lot of damage. You can actually ult after her Hakuren too. So nothing too crazy about her. She does have like 3 lights in the area change, and it's pretty quick. Your opponent sometimes doesn't see it coming until after they get hit. Honestly, not a bad character. Pretty solid. Does take some discipline to use. Same thing with Yugi. Yugi's one of the harder characters to use in this game. Same thing with Sabo and Boa. So just something to keep in mind. She's a really good character though. She's slept on. Uh, as far as Bleach characters go, Bleach characters are really good in this game. She's probably the weakest one, but that's not even her fault. Like she's still really good. But anyway, next character, Kakashi. Kakashi has a grab ult that is inescapable. It's kind of considered cheese to some people, and for most people, I will agree that maybe it is cheese because you can't really do anything. But his grab is so hard to land anyway. A lot of time you won't see it coming. Honestly, his counter is pretty good. His up tilt doesn't do too much for him, but his counter is really good. It can help relieve pressure, so you got to be careful when fighting this character if he has 2 meters. Really good switch moves because Raikiri, if you transform, he awakens the Sharingan, and the Raikiri or Lightning Blade does 2 hits instead of 1, and it's safe on block if you do transform with him. If you're not transformed, it's not safe on block. So yeah, and it'll knock them away. You can maybe combo with a support to do an ult. So does pretty good damage there. His what is it, Kamui Shuriken, not too good, but they can be used to catch people that try to ult you. But you can use it. Your opponent will ult instinctively, but you'll still throw out the Shuriken quickly enough because if you don't charge them up, and you can cancel some ults. His ult pretty quick too, goes across the map almost, I want to say. So not bad. If your opponent has no stamina anyway and you grab ult them, fuck them. They have no stamina anyway, they can't escape. So But pretty good for switching around with the Kamui Shuriken. Not a bad character, not the best character. His down tilt can combo back into squares or Lightning Blade. Triangles, combo and Lightning Blade. Typical stuff. Nothing too crazy with Kakashi. He does take some discipline to use as well. Anyway, next character. Probably one of the better supports in this game, hands down. Kaguya. Really good character. Her ult can be comboed off of her Almighty Push, and it does a lot of damage, but the only problem with that is Almighty Push is kind of hard to land, even in a combo, especially outside of a combo. But inside a combo is because you gotta like do it at the last few hits. I think you can do. She does have a 1 light stage transition, and I think actually 1 light does go in the Almighty Push, but I haven't really labbed that. Has a really good move in the form of R2. Her R2 square is really nice. Does the multi punches. Has her support move. She can like use supports to like continue comboing and stuff, but nothing too notable there. It's a really good move. His R2 Triangle Almighty Push can't really catch people outside of it because it takes too long to really catch them after you hear her say Shinra Tensei, and they'll have enough time to block it. Her needles got buffed and they're really good. They do slow, gradual health drain. Yeah, I think you can combo after it or combo into it, so it's not bad. All her moves can be comboed into, but even then, like the character herself, her mix-ups are pretty good if your opponent doesn't know what you're doing with the character. But if your opponent knows how the character works, they'll probably see it coming anyway. But that really goes for any character. Kaguya is one of the better characters. Honestly, I might even say she's better than Kakashi, but Kakashi has an inescapable grabble. Rukia has a grabble. Yugi has a grabble. The other characters have really fast supers. Her supers are pretty fast too. Honestly, she deserves to be maybe a little higher, but where she's at now is not bad either. Doesn't have a grabble. Her mix-ups are really good. Her down tilt can connect into her square combos, into triangle combos. Her up tilt doesn't really connect into anything, but it's okay too. You can actually cancel her needles halfway to like do a triangle combo or a square combo. Not bad. Overall, a really nice character. Slept on as well. I think people should give her a try. So, and if you fight Sanji, Sanji can't do shit to you. And one of the few characters that can kind of hit Aizen through a wall. There's that. Next character, Deku or Midoriya. Not a bad character. Does have a grabble. At times it feels very clunky, like it doesn't connect. But I can't say it does, but I can't say it doesn't. Sometimes it drops. It's very weird. Same thing with Yusuke. I think it depends on the character and the map. Sometimes they'll get stuck on the ledges on the maps, which doesn't really make sense, but it does happen. And it can cancel your grabble. So there's that. Pretty fast ult though, pretty good. Kaguya's ult can be hard to land unless your opponent is like mashing as well. I forgot to add that in, but it does do pretty good damage, especially after Shinra Tensei. It does like 60-70% of your health, so watch out for that. But Deku, right? Can land his ult after Manchester's Smash, which is the one where he kicks the ground, right? It does really good damage too, especially after the end of a triangle combo. Has really good strings actually. Doesn't do crazy amounts of damage unless you land Manchester Smash, but has really good, a pretty okay projectile. If your opponent blocks it, they get stunned and blocked for quite a while. You can charge it up after the end of the triangle combo, and it charges up all the way to do pretty good damage. His Detroit Smash can be used in the middle of a combo, but it's honestly the best use as a get off me tool. Your opponent will be trying to swing on you or something, and honestly, I hate Deku that just sit there and spam Detroit Smash because they're so annoying to approach. Because he turns around to look at you, and then you can't really vanish it. And he'll punch the air, so the air will hit you, and he'll probably have enough time to block before you can even swing on him. You'll probably have to ult him if you really want to catch him off guard. He's pretty safe after most of his moves, except for Manchester Smash will probably go over your head if he just tries to throw it out. You have to throw that out in a combo, but if it does hit, it does a lot of damage. And his triangle combos are pretty good at tracking. His down tilt's really good. His up tilt, pretty ass, but nothing too special. Does really good damage. I'm glad they buffed him. They made him a lot more viable. He's really good. He's viable. A lot of these characters here at A tier viable. Definitely viable. And he's one of them. I'm glad he got buffed and he's not his ass anymore. But you can actually follow up with his support after the ult, so that's not bad at all. But overall, he's an okay support too. So it just really depends. You want to put him on the team. If you're a fan of My Hero, you probably put him on the team. He's not a bad character at all. I think he's where he should be. Does an okay amount of damage, but like I said, outside of unless you're using a Manchester Smash, he's not really doing too crazy amounts of damage. But he's still a really good, solid character. I think he's usable. Definitely someone you should lab and try out because he feels a little weird, but he's really good because a lot of his stuff is really safe. So you never really feel punished for anything that you do. Anyway, next character, Hisoka. He does not have a grab ult. The grab is okay. It's kind of, I wouldn't say it's fast, but it's pretty cool looking. His cards are probably his best thing. You can like throw them out randomly and they'll track your opponent. Can hit supports that are coming in. Bungee Gum also one of his best tools. He can actually combo a support after it. So he'll like use a support and then Bungee Gum, and then he'll like knock them out, like punch them away, and then a support will like special beam cannon or something will hit them. And after that you can land on their Bungee Gum or maybe throw cards and then Bungee Gum. The only downside to him is that he does have multi-hits in his combos, so it makes him a little bit easier to counter at times. And the biggest flaw I would say is that sometimes during his triangle combo, it does drop and the opponent can like get out and like start blocking in the middle of the combo, which I don't know why that's a thing. I think Balance just switched that. Has a pretty good down tilt, nothing crazy. His up tilt's pretty not too good. But it's alright, I guess. Knocks him away. His ult does go pretty far. And sometimes it's glitchy where it'll stay there for a second, so they can like dodge it and then try to move in. And since the Bungee Gum is still there, they'll get hit by it, and then the ult starts and then like hits them, and oh, Guchu eats kudasai, where he's just like spinning them around the air. He's a pretty fun character though. I will give him that. The worst thing about him though is that the fact that his triangle combos do drop. That does suck for any character, but it notably does happen more, I think, maybe for him and Vegeta than any other character in the game. Even for Sanji, I think Sanji's more reliable at landing his stuff. There is a character that's worse, but I'll get to that in a second. So not a bad character. Does okay damage, especially when you combo with support. So I would put him where he's at. So I think he's where he's at. Not a bad character. His counter does suck. It does counter projectiles, but a lot of time your opponent it's pretty slow, so you can't really hit them unless you know they're gonna do it. And if they switch while they're doing it, it counts them, the person doing the super as a support, so they won't even hit. And I gotta make this quick because I probably got like 7 minutes left. Like 8 minutes, or like 6 minutes. Whoops. Kenshin. I will say this: his triangle combo pretty flashy, pretty good. Honestly, has really good mix-ups. That's the scariest part about him. And his R2 square. Pretty good. That's a support move too. Hisoka's support move is his cards. Pretty good. You can garbage these off with the cards. I forgot to mention that for Kakashi. You can do that too. Kenshin's ult is really, really fast. Probably one of the fastest ults in the game. Does pretty good damage. You can follow up after it. The only thing that sucks about Kenshin is the only move that really feels usable is R2 square, because R2 triangle, that counter move, the flash of the heavenly flying dragon, doesn't really connect very well, and you can get hit multiple times on multiple projectiles while you're doing it, or even ulted, and it just feels like you can't really do too much off of it. It can help at times because you can catch characters off guard, that are trying to hit you. So there's that. And I guess he does have a grapple too. But aside from his counter, he can't really connect anything else into ult unless you're using a support. His R2 square in the Vegeta support is pretty good because you can do really good damage. So there's that. I might have to make another video for the B tier characters. But anyway, let me hop into Bisky real quick. Bisky, nothing too crazy about her. Has a really good counter. Her ult is safe on block. So is her rush attack. And she has a buff that lasts the entire round. She does really good damage. That's why I could say she's like lower on here. Like I said, these A tier characters, you can really put them however you want. And there's nothing too bad about them. Like, they're all pretty solid characters. They're all usable and better than the B tier characters in my opinion. But we'll hop into those in a second. Her ult's really cool. Her strings are really weird, so they're kind of safe at times. And honestly, she's a really good character. I wouldn't get her personally if you don't want to get her as a character, but you know, like she's okay, nothing bad. She can ult after her R2 triangle that does a lot of damage and guard breaks, and it's a very sneaky guard break people forget about. So there's that. Definitely a character that's might be a bit higher. She might even be higher than Kenshin, but Kenshin has the mix-ups, I think, in my opinion. But anyway, all these characters are all pretty good. I hope I explained this pretty well. Now let me hop into B tier. Piccolo is probably the best B tier character in my opinion. I think you can swap him around with Frieza, but because he's a better support and his support moves will go across the map, his Makanko Sapo is easier to punish certain people, and his lights have really fast recovery. Hellzone Grenade is pretty bad, but it can be used for memes and stuff. So nothing there, but if you hit him or use a support, it goes away. His special beam cannon is probably his best move no matter what you say. Hellzone Grenade can reposition you so you can hit your opponents. So not a bad move. Honestly, he's a pretty good character for B tier, I guess. The best B tier character in my opinion. And his rush attack connects into Hellzone if the Hellzones are in the middle of the map where it repositions you after you use the R2 triangle. So yeah, I'm the best Piccolo NA. Fucking fight me, right? But yeah, he's a pretty good character. I think he's deserving of the B tier. These characters you'll see they're a lot weaker on the scale, and as you can see, those characters in A tier, it does progressively, like, you know, the characters do get weaker as we go. Frieza, a really good character because Death Beam, his R2 triangle does connect into Death Beam, his rush attack. His mix-ups are pretty trash. Up tilt is horrible. His down tilt is okay, but it's still very horrible. Triangles are really slow. You can move out of his combos most of the time. He has a really fast Death Beam. That's the only thing that really saves him. And the fact that he can connect ult after it if you do the whole square string, so that's not bad at all. His death saucers are memey, so you can use them as a meme, but they're not really that good either. So honestly, I think he's one of the worst characters in the game, but he's still usable. He's still pretty good. You can help it with switch tech. Him and Piccolo are pretty godlike, so there's that. Asta, he's a character you could probably switch around with Boruto, but because he has really good moves, his Demon Slayer sword is unsafe on block, so you can get grabbed and hit off of it. Not too good of a character. His ult does go across the map, and it can cancel people who are spamming. You can cancel the Blackbeard spammer, so and force him to switch. So that's the only like reason I have him higher than Boruto. If essentially you're forcing a switch, he can't even gain meter while he's hit with the ult status affliction. So he's a pretty good character, really fast. I think he's slept on. I think he might even be A tier, my personal opinion, but you know, yeah, he doesn't have a grapple. None of those other three characters I mentioned have a grapple. The next character, though, I'm going on the Boruto because I'll make this quick. Boruto does have a grapple. Has all his supers are 1 meter. That's the downside to Asta. Is a lot of his moves cost a lot of meter, but Boruto's don't. They're pretty quick. They're pretty good. He does have a grapple. Notable. His strings are okay. A lot of his stuff is safe. You can do resets that do 100% if you have him at support, but there's only a very few characters that can do it, so there's that. Seiya R2 square, the Pegasus Comet Fist does connect into ult, but they can escape if they have meter or they have R3, so that's the only downside. The fact that his square combos do multi-hits make him really bad because you can counter easily. His down tilt can combo into square combos, not too bad, not too good. Up tilt's kind of ass though, don't use that. Triangle combos are okay. You can escape out of his R2 square, or his R2 circle, so yeah. His R2 triangle is pretty good, safe on block. That's probably one of the best things about him. But otherwise, his strings are pretty bad, and the fact that his ult misses is the reason he's down here. Kurapika, R2 triangle is his way of landing his ult. If he lands Steel Chain, he can reliably land ult. His squares and the triangles connect, but they drop a lot. So honestly, he's even worse than Hisoka in that regard. Up tilt really good, down tilt pretty bad, but it's okay because it can combo into regular combos. He's probably only really uses support. Galena, all her moves cost too much meter to really use. Her mix-ups are good, but that's it. All her moves cost too much. And Gon, as far as I can say for Gon, his ult's really good. But imagine saying you're a Gon main because and then having to switch to another character because he ulted. Yeah, it couldn't be me. And the fact that he has to do another super that costs 2 meters to do a setup. It doesn't last a whole round unlike Bisky. But yeah, but he does do really good damage, so I think he's better than Galena. Anyway, that's pretty much it for the tier list. I got like 4 seconds left. I'm sorry. Maybe ask me on stream. I got you. Ah!